I know what you want. You want to win at slots. But what you need to get but what you need to get what you want is something else. You need a plan. I tell my university students on career day, I don't care what your plan is. I care that you have a plan. Most slots enthusiasts don't have a plan. Every day, millions and millions of them go to a casino and randomly pick a slot machine, put their bankroll in, and get an average result of 90% if they're in Indiana, and up to 93% if they're in Nevada. And and that's okay. We need millions and millions of slots enthusiasts to pay casinos' bills for us. Heck, we need them to pay more than that. We need them to give the casino enough money for them to stay in business. But that's them. I don't want that to be you. What I what you need for a successful casino visit is a plan. Your plan needs to have two parts. First, you need to learn to win. That's where I come in. And second, you need to learn to leave with your winnings. And while I can explain how you might leave with your winnings, that's up to you. Nobody can make you leave with your winnings. Only you can. Or maybe your spouse if you give them your winnings. That's a plan some players use. During over 100 live streams, I've been explaining my winning slot strategies. Well, some of them are winning slot strategies at your casinos, others are not winning strategies at your casino. As you may know, my strategies are based on casino business practices. For them to work, a casino must have the matching business or accounting practice. That's on them. Our job is to figure out which one or more they are using so that they can have multiple. So, multiple matching strategies. So that means multiple winning strategies. And sometimes you have to figure out which one's the best one to win. But our job is to figure out which one of them that they're using so we can take advantage of them instead of the other way around. Last weekend's live stream went over your observing your casino and how that is the number one thing you can do to win at slots. I unlist my weekly live streams after about a week or so. So be sure to watch it before it's taken down. And I understand that you get it. Nobody watches my hour-long live streams who doesn't get it. There are these are community videos where we share ideas. Like now, please share your plan. What do you use to win at your casino? And how do you get out, assuming you're not still working on that? How do you get out with your winnings, assuming that you do? If you aren't, no worries. First, we win, and only after that starts happening do we get to practice getting out of the casino with our winnings. If only the second thing were as easy as the first. I've started going to different casinos every other weekend. The intent is of those is to show you step by step how to test which of my strategies work at a casino it works at, if any of them do. And this is a new to me casino. I will occasionally revisit a casino but it's been maybe years since I've done that, or if it's under new management. I'm thinking one of those will be my next casino I visit. Last weekend, I went to a new to me casino in Michigan. It was MGM Grand Detroit, and I had a plan. I'll tell you about that plan in a moment. In the meantime, let's check in with the live chat to briefly say hello. And we have a few donations already. Thank you, Chuck and Now I have cats all around me. I have a cat over there, and I have a cat behind me on the chair. Can you see her, Hetty? And then apparently, Curie is a slots enthusiast over on the couch. She's moved from the chair to the couch now as her usual spot. But thank you, everybody, for the donations. Chuck says, "Morning all, sunny in St. Louis." And thank you so much for the donation. I have music to play. Thank you. Also, thank you to Darlene for your $20. That is a wonderful donation. Thank you. It helps me to keep the show going. So thank you. And we have Magpie 11. Good morning, learners and winners. That's great. I think it was I captured all three. Excellent. Thank you also, Magpie 11, for your donation. It is appreciated. All the donations are appreciated. I am breaking even, I hope, my business, and we shall see how the year turns out. Like keep telling you how to win. So let's see if there's any comments yet about what people's plans are as far as what they do at their casino or what they're thinking about doing and how that might change. One of the things that I talk about some of you with during my Thursday night paid membership group is, you go to so many casinos. Some people go to so many casinos, and you have to sort of figure out how to win at one of them, and then avoid trying to take that and apply it to a different casino. Maybe they all have it, but it's not assumed. This is kind of like, from my point of view, I have businesses that I use that tell me how to have a successful YouTube channel. That's different. And the reason it's different is it's just YouTube. How to succeed is kind of like the same for everybody, more or less. I mean, your topic might be different, so you might have different rules, but how to succeed on YouTube, it's just YouTube. And when we figure out how to succeed, that's one of the changes that happens in the online course to the way people think about winning at slots. It's not about your luck. It's not like everybody's luck, and it's all, how do I change people's luck? Where that might be, if that were even possible, one thing, but it's not. It is about the casino, and it's not one casino. It's not even one gaming regulation. I don't mean to get too much into this plan that we're going to be talking about. It's under different state requirements, even the tribal. It has some federal elements, but it also definitely has a state element. So how it's different enough each time that you have to sort of, one of the things that I sometimes say is I teach you to fish rather than give you fish, so that you can figure it out. And also that my winning slot strategies are the beginning, and modify them, as you need. There's variations on that. 5-spin method. Well, maybe you like 3 spins, or maybe you like 6 spins. I know somebody who's like really set on 8 spins. And that's the sort of thing that, if it works, good. So let's see if we have more comments. Talking about the weather. Yes, we had mid 60s and mid 50s, and then we had 17 before and after. We're currently it's gone up from 19 degrees to nearly 28 degrees. Oh, it's been dropping the last hour. and and tomorrow it's supposed to be 65 again. So I'm from Michigan, and I've lived in uh, uh, Iowa, Connecticut, and Michigan, as well as being born and raised in and Ohio, and born and raised in Michigan. And every state thinks they're the only ones that says, you wait a day and the weather will change. If you wait an hour, the weather will change, and they all think that it's just them that says that. So, yeah, weather, isn't it something? Um, and lots of messages back and forth to everybody during the stream. Some people are new to the live streams, and the live chat is available during the live stream, but the recording of this video recording, if you're watching it later, won't have the live chat. So that's one thing. That's one reason to be here for that. I sent out a message to not quite 7,000 people to be here about an hour and a half ago. So we might actually get a few people more, which is great earlier in the show. So I want to make sure I just explain things. Donations are possible. You can either use the Cash App and use $ Professor Slots, all one word. You can use the $ at the bottom of the live chat window, or you can donate via PayPal by going to professorslots.com/tip or /donate. Either one will work. I want to do this. So there's lots of comments. Denise says, I have no problem winning most of the time, just trying to teach myself to leave. Always win when I first walk in, and then I do not want to leave when I just got there. Yes, I have planned to spend the whole day in the casino, and I won $10,000 in the high limit room with 2 wins, 20 minutes apart, and paperwork taking about 15 minutes. So it was actually 5 minutes. And then I was like, this, according to my strategies, I come back a week later with this casino where that strategy worked, and I have to go. And I'd planned on being being there all day, and I was there for 20 minutes, including walking from the entrance. I was just like bummed, but $10,000 kind of made me feel better. So, but then a lot of people, it's absolutely true. A lot of people will not take their winnings home. They, shall I say, can't. I'll mention this, but and I have mentioned this. It's just practice. We just don't have any practice at it, and we all need to. I dislike the word discipline. It was misused in my life, but it technically is discipline, but it's also, developing a habit. And it isn't until you do something, what do they say? It isn't until you do something a dozen times or 2 dozen times that it becomes a habit. So, putting money in a pocket that is a deposit only pocket, so you don't have to buy a lockbox that only holds so many bills. There's, can I point to them right there? Yeah. Those 2 boxes with keys in them, and you leave the key at home. Those can be very helpful as a tool. If you are a high limit player, one of the things you can do is have everything withdrawn. I mean, if your state requires it, then it's mandatory for state. And if your casino is in a city with city taxes, that too is mandatory. But the federal is optional. Well, give it to the government. It's February. Get it back actually, it would be, it's the new year. So you wouldn't get it back for like a year and 2 months with the April refund. And there might be a fee for using the federal government as a bank. But that they have a police force. They're not giving you your money until it's time. It's what I call the draconian method. You'll have it later. Um, uh, yeah, and so that's there. Yes, there's Skeeter is new, and Nathaniel is new. Hello, welcome. Glad you guys could come in here, and and yeah, I don't know if I was talking about you, John, or if I was talking about somebody else. I've heard it from several people. He plays the 5 spins and move on of 0 payouts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, 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 good. Um, yes. No, so many people tell us, you know, it. So many people lose. They lose what they win, and that's what's your plan? That's the other thing I want to ask. Not the first part of it is what winning strategy do you use, including your own or just in general. But the second thing I want to ask you is how do you go about for the others on the live chat so you can all share? How do you get out with your winnings if you get out with your winnings? I have been taking extra bankroll. What I've been doing, just to share myself, I take $300 to my casino trip reports. For my casino trip reports, I take $300 and I stop when it's half gone. So I always have half, which makes me feel better. But so I'm only taking $150. Some people are like, wow, $300 is a lot. Well, technically I'm only taking $150, but I take $300 and then I stop when it's half gone. And that's what I've always done. Sometimes it was $800 and I'd stop when it was down to $400. It's a loss limit, 50%. And that's one of the ways, there's multiple loss limits. But then what happens when you win, right? And we could talk about that. But let me see if there's more questions. Dave says he does 50 spins. I forget who it was who was said like a year ago. I go with the 100 spin method, which I'm just like, that's no. Hey, Steve, welcome. Yes, there is a 100 spin method, but you don't continue past 10 spins unless, tough love, right? If there's something in the first 10 that makes you go to the second 10 and see and evaluate at 20 whether or not you should continue to 50. And if you win again and I think it was Chuck who we were side by side when I went out to his casino and evaluated it, Ameristar in Missouri, a riverboat casino, and we were sitting side by side and we're doing that method, and I'm like, what do you think? We got 2 bonus rounds. Is that good enough for us to continue past 20 bets? And he said no. He wanted 3. 3 bonus rounds. And I was like, okay. So, whatever works for you. And then you go to 50 and then you go to 100. And at 100, you basically say, is this a winning machine? And if it's a winning machine, I'm kind of getting off track with one of the strategies that I talk about, and I don't have a specific video on that. There is a lot of videos to be putting out there. My dog is such a puppy. He's getting out of being a puppy and is now a young adult, and I'm just like, dude, let me work. So I'm figuring out stuff. He'll be over it soon. But it's been tough to find the time. Yes, Magpie 11 is one of my early fans. There's several of them here, and what's your plan when you go? And I'm happy for her. I'm glad that she is shared, and I'll put this on the screen. They says Magpie 11 says I set a goal when I go. Sometimes it is to test the casino, entertainment with friends, win 30 to 40% over bankroll, etc. PS taught me to assess the casino, and then I plan breaks, and manage your thoughts, manage my thoughts. Um, that's it. I mean, that's a lot, and you piece it together. Um, Magpie 11 is very organized, and she has to deal with the Las Vegas Strip, so she's got to have a plan. See, have a plan. And she's figuring out how to do this. Oh, Chuck, you're talking about 70 degrees of weather in Hawaii? Please. That's just rude. um, Darlene says my local used to be kind of generous. Now that they're just tight, they're building a hotel. I live in Upper Indiana. My local is Four Winds. Are they tight due to funding of a hotel? Usually, yeah, usually. If the Four Winds is in the in Indiana and not the one across the border in Michigan, it has Class 2 gaming, and that's fairly close to me, and I plan on going there soon. So yeah, sure. One of the things that we were talking about on Thursday night in our Zoom group meeting with the pay community, was how wonderful things are starting to look at a lot of different casinos. Revenues are up to record numbers, and that was happening last year. August, maybe September, and they've what's the word here that I want to use? They've made their money back from what happened with the pandemic, and then they made their money back, and then they made their money back, and then they made their money back. So now they're feeling like, okay, one more time, we'll make our money back. Okay, now, if you want slots manager, if you want a few new slot machines, okay, as long as you don't renovate the building, because we don't have that much money. But okay, we'll let you, maybe repair 10%, 150 out of 1,500 slot machines at it was called Indiana Grand, but now it's called Horseshoe Indianapolis, were broken. Well, maybe they can start repairing those. Well, this is talking about my recent casino trips and what I see. And let's see, I'll stop sharing that and am back and forth. Good. And Nathaniel, so I know you said that you were new. What you want to do is figure out which of the strategies work. So there's two amounts to use. There's whatever you normally bet. I know it can be back and forth and this and that, but are you a high limit player? Are you a low limit player? Do you make, $5 bets on penny machines? Do you take $100 bankroll, and so it's all minimum bets? What you do is you find a way to win with minimum bets. I'm just thinking of you saving money, and then go to whatever other amounts you tend to bet, and that way you can save some money. Now, there are plenty of things to talk about, like, is minimum bets have the same odds as maximum bets? Well, technically, no, if you are changing the amount of the bet because you're changing the denomination. But technically, yes, if you're changing the amount of bet by changing the number of credits bet, but that's kind of like a whole live stream. And I hope that helps get you started. Jill says, "My taste often turn into buffets." Oh, so we could still have buffets. I love me some buffets. I miss them. Um, and Jan says, "My son wins big, then gives it all back. Been trying to teach him how to keep his winnings. It's a struggle." Um, uh, Texas Tootsie Jan, if you ask him to give it to you and you'll give it to him after you leave the casino. I have suggestions, but it's all it's all on us. Let's see, checking these. And a question for everybody. That's good. Yeah, I was recently talking to somebody in Fort Myers, Michigan. There's a question, not really a question, a statement about arcades and amusement machines. And these, I knew something about this because I had spoken to a slot machine. I don't want to say manufacturer. It was a slot machine company that bought used machines from casinos and sold them to like arcades, to a place with maybe 50 slot machines, and that's it, like a laundromat, right? A business, a retail, and this is all over the place for different states. It's different reasons. Ohio had them for a little while, but then they started enforcing it, and then there's places in, was it Wyoming? I think it was Wyoming, no, maybe Montana, where there was no penalty unless a minor was doing it, and it was in a bar, so that usually didn't happen. The police would just come and take it away. But because you made $518 in profit per day on one of those, you could, it only takes a week to make as much money as it costs. So you buy another one, and that was part of their plan, the business plan for these little businesses in other states. In Florida, they just seem to have them. I'm not entirely sure it's illegal or just unenforced or what's going on. It's all buried there. I only recently found out that it's modern machines. It's perhaps used machines, but still something to have. Let's see. Okay, so Jan, yes, this is the trouble people run into. Texas Tootsie just said her son spends what he wins, and she asked him to give it to her, and he won't. It sounds like an interesting conversation. Yes, you can adopt the attitude of hit and run, where in the nicest way possible, where I've talked about one strategy is to wear tennis shoes and sneakers and just run to the door. and the less time you think about it, less chance you give yourself to spend the money. Whatever works. Paula, that's the wrong email address. Professor has one F. So my email address, I'll put it in here. Thank you, Paula, for helping. Paula is our moderator, and but wrong spelling. So let's see. Seems like yes, it is. The first step to solving any problem is to recognize you have a problem. If you can't leave with your winnings, some people just say or think it's easy. and we need when and what we're doing is not putting enough effort into it, that it's far more serious and hard than we expected. And gang up on it. Do what you need. So lots of talk between everybody. Oh, Joanna, thank you for using for using your the phone for Paula. Thank you, Joanna. Joanna sometimes helps out on moderating as well. And we have a donation from Sport Guy 17. Saying, I am having bad luck lately, but good luck for my friends and strangers this month. 3 times I got off a slot machine and the next person won $1,000. Oh my God. There's an easy tip, or OMG. There's an easy tip for you. If that annoys you, take your money out of the slot machine. Take your card out of the slot machine. Wait as long as it was before that individual sat down and put money in and made a bet. But you stay at that machine and put your money back in and your card back in after 45 seconds, a minute, whatever it was that person took, and then you're the next person. Let's see. Shai Hepner, that's a misconception. It is certainly timing, but that's not all it is. People say that the random number generator is all of a slot machine, and it is only part of a slot machine. It's kind of like saying that your starter on your car starts your car. But it's not the only thing that's needed to start your car. You also need an engine, fuel, a battery, key in the ignition, foot on the brake, all these other things. So there's a lack of education out there in the world there was a video in 2009 that has 8 million views, and they just explained it poorly, which is not to be unexpected. It's a table game expert. He's not a slot expert. He was just, well, I'm a gambling expert. I can do this. And man, it's just misled everybody. So watch out for that. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. To talk to Shai, I am not very good at marketing, yet I'm growing so much. And why is that? Because people are looking for answers. It's not like I'm charming or persuasive. I'm here and they find me because they're like, I'm seeing stuff that isn't, how random number generators work. Even I know that's not how random number generators work. And, quoting them, because I do know how random number generators work. And, they see things and they're like, no, that's the common explanation isn't right. And so I laid it all out in the course. I do want to make a video about all of that and get 8 million views, but I'm afraid I'm going to break the internet, so I'm just putting it off. Going to Reno tomorrow, best wed dev or best wed Nevada. Go easy in Reno on the weekend. It's actually about 10 o'clock on Friday morning to about 10 o'clock on Monday morning. They do the same thing Las Vegas does, which is just grab the money, fleece the people coming to visit. So be careful and watch for that. If there's any possibility of gambling after 10 o'clock on Monday, that's a general time. That seems to be a working. Now, on the other hand, if you look around and know my strategies well, you might find a winning machine even on the weekend. I'm not saying it's not possible to win the weekend, but by default, they do try to take money. Then during the week, they make the locals happy by letting them win, and then the average for the week is 93%. Okay, let's get back into this. I think I'm kind of caught up there, and the saboteurs are like running around. I didn't lock them away; they're being locked around. So, thank you everybody for the donations. Um, if you take my online course for improving your slots play, 30 days to play slots smarter and win, you'll get lifetime access, a free copy of my book, Learning to Win. It's available on Amazon otherwise, and spreadsheet templates for slots record keeping for income tax preparation purposes, and also gameplay analysis. You also get 1 month free membership to my Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, where you'll get community support and accountability. It's like all the time, 24/7, the live chat. Many of the same people are that comment the most and talk about what they've learned and all that are members of that community. I think it's a great place. So visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about this well-received course, including a description of its contents as well as testimonials. That link is also in the video's description. Now, let's get back to my recent visit to MGM Grand Detroit. It was awful. Oh, the food options were great. The casino was clean and the slot machines were modern and the staff was incredibly helpful. None of that was a problem. Well, maybe waiting in the line at the cashier's cage could have gone faster, but I made good use of my time there. But the odds of winning were terrible. That's what was awful. That's what was awful. But I knew it would be. So I knew it would be. Uh, so I had developed a plan. I didn't mean I assumed the odds were terrible. I mean I knew the odds would be terrible. How? Michigan has 3 commercial casinos and 23 tribal casinos. The 3 commercial casinos are all in Detroit, and those are regulated by the Michigan Gaming Control Board. No return statistics are available to the public, but there is a theoretical payout limit. In fact, there are 2 limits: a minimum theoretical payout limit and a maximum theoretical payout limit. These are 80% and 100%. For instance, Nevada has a lower payout limit of 85%. They never get close to it. They're right around 93% on average. But they don't have an upper limit. Michigan has an upper limit. This is the theoretical setting is the setting on the slot machine having to do with the odds. And if it's over, you can win on a slot machine, but over the long term, it would be breaking even at best. However, there is a caveat in the state gaming regs regarding the 100% theoretical payout limit. The theoretical payout limit can be higher than 100% if the casino asks for approval from the Gaming Commission. What? The maximum limit has an out that casinos could use. I mean, you might say because no casino would ever put a machine over a winning amount. Well, if they made money, they would. They would lose money on one machine. This is what location is all about, and other factors that are all other winning strategies are all about. If they can show people that people are winning by having a winner on one machine, then the whole row of the same game of machines, except that one, could be played. And everything in the viewable area, everybody scatter and run to the nearest slot machine and put money in and spend it on lower odds machines. Basic concept. It's a manipulation of the casino, and they make money when that happens by losing money on one machine, making money on 100 other machines, anything within view. So the question became for me, how many had the gaming board approved? How many machines had the gaming board approved for MGM Grand Detroit? That information is not publicly available. And even if it were, nobody at the Gaming Commission or the casino is going to share which slot machines had a theoretical payout over 100%. Do you see my plan now? I went to MGM Grand Detroit, not to lose. It was with a plan to look for any slot machines with a theoretical payout over 100%. And spoiler alert, I did. You can read all about it in my website article. This live stream is not about going to MGM Grand Detroit, and I'm trying to tell you about having a plan. This is an example of having a plan. This is what happened. So you can read more about that. If I share this to you, so this is professorslots.com. With all the way at the bottom is my telephone number. It's a Google Voice. You can text it as well, and my email there for where that is. This is my most recent articles. This is MGM Grand Detroit Casino Trip Report. Sorry, YouTube viewers, I don't yet have a video. I've been filming in the car directly after my visit, and I was going to do that, but this is downtown Detroit, so it's a parking structure, and they have blaring music, so I didn't want to have that. Also, when I arrived, it started to snow, and it was a blizzard, and it had already been like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, with all my walking around, and it was getting kind of deep out there, so I was like, I'm going home, and it got out from under the snowstorm, and a couple hours from home. And I also found 2 more snowstorms, 2 more blizzards on the way home. So I wasn't going to sit in my car and freeze to death making a video for you. But that means I need to get out, get that video out and record it in my studio. Okay, so this is that article. And you can find it there on my website. And I review all the different things. I think that's kind of what happened. So I'll share that. But when details. But when you look up Michigan, and I have, okay, let's see if I can do this properly. The MGM Grand Detroit article is in the video description. So you can have the link there. That's where you can go. But what I did is what you need to do, which was, where's the map? There's the map. What you need to do is you need to go and read the gaming regulations. What you need to do is do what I did, have a plan, any plan, a plan to win, and a plan to leave with your winnings. Not all your winnings, if you don't want to, nor even any of your winnings, if that's your conscious choice. But have a plan. Remember, I care that you have a plan, not what the plan is. The first thing you need to do is read over the gaming regulations for your state. I know not everybody is in a U.S. state. I have written and rewritten and fourth time rewritten articles on every U.S. state, territory, and federal district, so that it's pretty much all there, and I update it occasionally. It's what I call my online resource for U.S. slots enthusiasts, and I have an article on every state. How do you find it? professorslots.com/MI. It's the 2-letter postal designation for the state. MI. Rhode Island, RI, Ohio, OH. And if you go to that, you can go to the section. It's towards the end, which is payouts and returns. Now, um, I do want to apologize for those outside of the U.S. Who I haven't spread that far. I find Australia government's gambling research center to be fascinating, and the crown agencies for each Canadian province, those aren't too shabby. But there is a language barrier in non-English speaking countries, and also there is just more to do. There's a couple of hundred um, uh, countries, and I don't know that I'll ever be able to get to all of them. I have enough trouble keeping up with 56 states, territories in our federal district. But how to win at slots is different at every casino due to their business operations. But sometimes those common business practices are off limits to the casino because their hands are tied by state gaming regulations. So look at my state-by-state articles, specifically under the section I call Theoretical Payouts and Return Statistics, and that's where you'll find a summary of any rules that exist. I've made and am continuing to make more videos about making the most of return statistics, and you can make that part of your plan, but you should also know about theoretical payout limits. The actuals are what actually happens, and they report on those in some states, 19 states. But the theoretical payout limits can really tell you a lot. So if there's an upper limit, and not every state has lower limits, some do, like Ohio has a lower limit of 85%, but Pennsylvania also has a lower limit of 85%, but an upper limit of 100%. You also want to look at the wording to see if it's 100% per the 100% limit on every wager or over the lifetime of the machine, because sometimes they can have it for 5 years, and they can do that. And there is a bit of a problem that would be on the live chat. So, and yeah, somebody is now removed. I don't think you saw any of that. Yep. So I'll come back to the chat in just a minute, but I'm nearly done here, or with the prepared remarks. So if you go to that section of your article for your state, you'll see what happens, see what exists, and if any caveats exist, those limits matter. It's part of developing your plan. You use what's available, and my strategies is just as important. And there's other things that's in my course about more than just there's a whole section before the winning strategies, just so you know what you're getting into, assessing the casino, looking for the main aisle, and following that main aisle until it crosses the second widest aisle in that intersection, and what to do about that. If you don't go to the gaming reports, and I've made it all available to you for all the U.S. states, if you don't go to the gaming state gaming regulations and look at them, if you don't use that when you develop your plan, it's like tying one arm behind your back. Check. I know that some states don't have anything, but check. What state? And so, what state are you in? I would like to have people put in the comments what state they're in, and I'll go to a few of those articles. So we have comments. So before so to learn more about 30 days to play slots smarter and win, my online course, currently at 50% off for $100 savings, visit my website at professorslots.com/30 days for a complete description, testimonials, and the valuable bonuses you'll get free with the course, including lifetime access, 1 month free access to my paid membership, my slots enthusiast growth network, support community, a PDF of my book Learning to Win, and spreadsheet templates for slots record keeping for income tax preparation purposes, but also gameplay analysis. Links are available in this video's description. So let's go take a look at a few of these. See, no, Angela has a question. I'm kind of everywhere. There's a lot of people who don't like Facebook. On Facebook, I'm quiet. I hardly say anything. If they misunderstand, they misunderstand. It tells me what people are thinking and misunderstanding. So there's no courses on Facebook. Facebook is free. They're private, and there's one for every state, and then there's my 18,000 member Professor Slots enthusiast group, and that gets some attention. But it's not where I teach. And so I have a website, I have a YouTube channel, and the videos, it's my free content. But I also have an online course. And while the content is available and free, the homework is not. And the step-by-step how this works and walking you through it. It's like, having the college course and I've taught college and just like having the book, what about the physics lab? It's what about the recitation? What about there's steps that are done. So I try to make everything free, because how would anybody know that I have anything useful if I don't make it for free? It's just a business decision. A lot of people take that approach. But the course is valuable, besides the free resources, in that you can step by step go through all of this. And there's only getting to be, enough time. It's also a shortcut. You can there's a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, but there's going to be even more. Double by the end of the year, and then double again by the end of next year, and it's all going to become a big. It's useful for people, but it's not a step-by-step process. It's kind of scattered and disorganized, as it has to be. It's the only way it can be. Anyway. And take a look at the testimonials, and that's what's available at professorslots.com/30 days. Yeah, lots of people going out there. Steve has a question. If you say you're playing 10 denominations and play $2.50 out of the percentage payback's the same if you play like $10 or more on a dime. Supposedly, different denominations have different payouts. If your state doesn't offer those payouts, then we have to look at other states, and they're it's not one-to-one. If it's just a little bit better to play a dime than it is to play a quarter in Nevada and you're in Wisconsin, you can't really make that assumption. But if you go to the 19 different states and they all have penny slots right at the bottom with a clear gap between them and every other denomination, then you can bet, even though you don't have return statistics in Wisconsin, that penny slots are the worst, because they are everywhere it's reported. So you can, that's what we know. That's what we can find out. There's lots of rumors out there about the higher you go, and this is something that the casinos are kind of like behind. The higher you bet, the more you're going to win, which is a misunderstanding. We hear, because we think about this sort of thing. Oh, our odds are better, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying if you make a $4.50 bet, your win won't be 10 cents. If you had made a 75-cent bet or a 90-cent minimum bet, you might win pennies. But the $4.50 one, well, that'll be more. But will it be 5 times more than if you'd made a penny bet? If you made a 90-cent penny bet, and then won some amount, and then you made a $4.50 bet, maximum bet, which is 5 times more. Right. And it would have to be 5 times more. What I found is that I will win more than I did with a 90-cent bet, but I wouldn't even win twice the amount. and I'm checking more and more casinos to see if this is true. Yes, I would spend money faster and I would win more than I did with minimum bets, but I wouldn't win proportionally more. I wouldn't have better odds. So, if you're just trying to spend your bankroll quickly, you can spend it all quicker proportionally than if you had made minimum bets and was patient for 3 hours and made a profit instead of 20 minutes where you just lost it all. And that's one of the things I'm seeing, just how prevalent at the other casinos are. It's not going to be a winning strategy until I check it out, but that's what I've started to see at some casinos, and it's something to look for. Try it. Make minimum bets, make maximum bets if that's what you make, and just on a winning machine. Once you find a winning machine where you're winning bonus round, bonus round, bonus round, check the amounts when you make minimum bets and when you make maximum bets. And if it's 5 times more on the bet, is it 5 times more on the win? I bet you it isn't. Okay. Yeah. PNT De Black, you're teaching a whole new way of playing slots and possibly increasing your wins by trial and error thinking. Yep. If you get, as I started off the show with, if you go in and randomly pick a slot machine, you will get a random result. But if you go in and you start seeing what the casinos are doing, you don't have a random result. And it's like playing poker. Any card will do. Whatever. Somebody who doesn't know how to even play the game versus professional poker players who do know what the right bet is, optimal play. And that's the difference. On average, it's 70, 75, 80% on return for poker. But that's the average. Plenty of people make money at it. And it's the same thing with slots. You can win at slots. Now, I do recognize that I will be in trouble with more and more casinos as they get more and more popular. But you know what? I'm just old and I'll die someday. So, which doesn't mean my YouTube channel will go away. It's all good. And Paula says, last night we had a plan. Yeah, it's difficult to. I'm not quite sure what some of the words are, and somebody is asking what is the longest time in hours you have ever spent in a casino. Spent playing slots. There's overnight in the hotel. I regretted going home. It was a great time at the casino. It was a new casino. I regretted going home, but I'm a diabetic and I have to have something to eat. Should have put candy in my pockets or something like that. My longest time was, let's see, it was noon at Lakeside Casino in Iowa, and I left at 2:00 in the morning. So 14 hours. I didn't have a plan. Well, I had a plan, but it was a terrible plan. I had a plan that I would spend my $50. I talk about it in the book, and then I'd leave. I walk in, and the first thing that happens was I won $500. But I stuck to my rule until it was all gone. And that wasn't until 14 hours later. And then I drove home and I just about hit a deer in my Jeep on I-80. So if we go to North Carolina, that someone was asking about that. This is North Carolina. There are no commercial casinos. That's what different sections here say. Commercial casinos, there are no commercial casinos, and there's 2 casinos, actually 3 now. This is 2020. I'm updating it with Kings Mountain. They changed the name. So those are tribal. Yes. Oops. Helps if I do this. Yeah, these are tribal. And that's North Carolina, Texas, Washington. Washington is, let's see where we're at. Ooh, right on time. Washington is UA. Come on. I should do it. Oh, it's I'm having a live stream, so my internet connection is not the greatest. So this is Washington's slot machine casino industry. When everything is put in here, there's a long all the rules, but then there's a return statistics section. So make sure you check the casino. What's going on there, sometimes a little bit of history. What I'll often do is put in related articles at the bottom in case I have more on that state. One of the things I want to do with Washington is put in the winning strategy of how to win on those machines. Right now it's just been a live stream, and I'm just about ready to put up a video with what I said in the live stream, so you can listen to it in 8 minutes instead of an hour. And I saw Texas on there. So let's go to Texas, and lots of stuff to show here. Texas, this is the 3 casinos. There's also a cruise ship that comes out of the port of Galveston, which it is an international cruise ship. It is not a gambling boat, so it doesn't go to international waters and then come back. It goes to the Caribbean or wherever. So you can do that. And there's Eagle Pass and Livingston, and no theoretical payout limits and no return statistics available for those tribal casinos. Georgia doesn't have anything. I mean, it's an article, and basically I'm saying it doesn't have anything. And you're all picking states. What? Oh, Gamblepalooza. I can't believe I did that. Automatic completion. Yeah. So yeah, go to Georgia and you'll see that there was a gambling boat. I think it moved to Texas, and Emerald Princess 2 in Brunswick, and that's it. And theoretical payouts, there's some discussion of what the boat operator does and some discussion what casinos cruises to international waters do, but it's not the worst state in terms of gambling, but it's not too far off from it. I think they have a state lottery, right? That's more than a lot of people have. Connecticut, yeah, I'm going to have to stop, but they're all there. Connecticut is a great one. I'm actually doing that next after last week's Colorado report. Missouri. Okay, there's maybe sometime we can go over these and just spend the whole hour going over it. And we are 4 minutes over. Texas Tootsie. Some tribal casinos do report payouts. Some have theoretical payout limits. Those in Texas don't. And you're welcome. Ground is key. And I'm just trying to check to see if anybody who's a member of gets preferential treatment, and answered it. So I hope that you have a plan. Like I said, have a plan. I care you have a plan. Don't matter what the plan is, and work on making it better. And you can win as much as you want, but if you don't balance it with being able to leave with your winnings, you have 2 things to work on. You have 2 parts to the plan. It's like being on a diet. You could always overeat. Always. Sorry. So thank you so much for the live stream. And if you're watching this recording later, uh, um, uh, you know, uh, maybe you want to know, what is my winning slot strategies? In this playlist right here, I explain each of them, from my 5 spin method through taking advantage of casino promotions and holiday celebrations. It's not what you think, and more. So click this playlist right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.